What's up guys, it's Crash, and I thought with the exciting launch of Grayzone Warfare that it would be helpful to give you guys some tips and tricks and things that I learned in my about 40 hours I had with the game during the creator playtest. These are some of the things that helped me be more efficient. These are some of the things that I learned and sometimes learned the hard way. So I think these could help you have a better, more efficient time whenever you drop into Lemang for the first time. So hopefully this stuff helps a lot, but right off the rip guys, it is super important to pick the same faction as your friends. After you go through the character creator screen, you're going to be prompted to choose one of the 3 factions. Make 100% sure if you have people that you plan on playing the game with, you coordinate with them and pick the same faction, because once you do, you're locked into that faction for the foreseeable future. And if your friend picks a different one, you guys will not be able to squad up. So some people are going to learn this the very hard way, but it will be helpful. Coordinate with them, or you could be in big trouble and not able to play with your friends. So that's super important that I wanted to tell you. And with that being said, talking about factions and teamwork and team play, other faction and like just individual identification of players is really important on the fly. You know, when you're not using your blue tech tracker to see where your friendlies are, it's really hard to identify players. So what my squad and I did that was really helpful, fairly early on, you unlock a short sleeve shirt that not a lot of people use because they want camo in their arms and stuff. So what we did in my squad is we all wore the same pants and the same short sleeve shirt. So you could see right off the bat, if someone had short sleeves, it was probably a teammate. Still be careful, but that just helped us a lot to kind of ID each other. So you might kind of pick like a dress code for your squad, and that might help quite a bit when it comes to the PvP situations. Some of the things with the UI that took me just a second to figure out are turning in the tasks. When you're in the base and you go to turn in those tasks, there is a task tab at the top of the UI that shows you all your tasks. That's not where you turn it in. You have to go to the vendors, to the task. Hopefully that helps you find it just a little bit quicker. As you're going around the early game, you're going to be expecting mostly PvE. You're in the town that's closest to your respective base. Now, somebody could PvP, could be silly. We did this in the playtest, traveled clear across the map to the other team's starter village. That could happen. It's kind of unlikely as everyone's trying to progress through their tasks, through their quests to get better things unlocked. So as you're doing that, as you're going around doing those early quests, pay attention to buildings, look for graffiti, look for big activity spots of the AI. That's where your future quests are going to be. So make mental notes of where you see the gang graffiti tabs. That will help you be more efficient as you move through those early quests. Something that is really important, the healing is not like anything we've had before. And this took me a long time to figure stuff out. We had a lot of teammates going, why do I have a dizzy thing? Or how do I heal this? Or how do I do this? So this will help you be more efficient with healing. And if you know this going in, it will make your gunfights much more efficient and helpful. So healing bleeding requires, now the first thing you do when you get in trouble is open up your health tab and you'll see the full body scan of your player. In the top right, if you have bleeds, I would take care of those first. Gauze help with medium and light bleeds. Take care of those first. You need a tourniquet if you have a heavy bleed. There will be feedback located by that, by telling you that you have a bleed. Now, the other things that are a little bit more nuanced on your body scan, if you have anything that is a color, any internal organ or bone that is a color, you will need to heal that and fix that before any of the dizziness and pain effects will go away. So if you have a colored bone, like a yellow or orange bone, you will need to put a splint on that to fix that. That will make your basically your pain effect and stuff go away. And if you see a colored organ of any kind, you'll need to hit that with a surgery kit. So common ones are like lung and stomach. I don't know if it was a bug, but one time my brain needed surgery. So apparently I'm an ultra elite PMC that can do brain surgery in the field. It's not a big deal. I'm just pretty good at brain surgery. But anyways, you will need to fix organs. So if the internal organs have a color, you'll need to hit those with a serve kit. And then the other thing that took me the longest to figure out is if you have like just the flesh area around the bones, if it's not any bone or specific organ, if it is colored red or orange, that is just pain. So you need to take a painkiller to make that go away, and then it will heal in the background on its own. If you don't have any, you can just wait it out and it will eventually heal on its own. I've had some light bleeds also heal on their own because I didn't have any bandages. So I found that out in the heat of combat as well. So you do have a light bleed and you can't find gauze, it's not the end of the world. It should heal. That being said, you do have to keep an eye out on your blood level. If that drops into the yellow, if it gets closer to half, you'll drop into a coma. So it's not 0, it's like a half. Keep an eye on that blood level. If it gets low, it can cause dizziness and disorientation and other things like that. So you'll need to give yourself a blood transfusion. It's always good to have somebody in your squad or you carry some units of blood to fix that up. But the biggest takeaway from that that's not entirely obvious is if you have a part of your body where the flesh is colored red or orange or something like that, it's just pain. Take a painkiller and it will heal. You don't have to drop any kind of healing kit or anything onto it to pump up the health. So that took me a minute to get figured out. The other thing about healing that is really important is if you have a friendly player that goes into a coma and you want to heal them, as well as this goes for the H. So there is by default keybinds, you can hit H and it'll pull up all the heals, the healing things that you have in your pocket. And you can click on that from a quick access menu with the H key to use that, and also to heal your friendlies. We had so many friendlies die from a coma because I didn't know this. You have to have the health item accessible in your pockets, like your pockets or your rig, for it to be able to pop up there. You can't heal from your backpack. So I was like, I know I have blood, why can't I use it? It's because it was in my backpack or my secure container. So you have to make sure that you have that stuff accessible in a pocket or in a rig before you can use it in the quick access menu and before you can heal a friend that is in coma. Also, when somebody was in a coma, sometimes I had a hard time getting the prompt to come up. I had the best luck by getting up to their ankle for some reason, and that's where I could get the prompt to be able to heal and examine my person in the coma. So that's something that was really hard for me to figure out, but finally did. Just some other tips and tricks talking about the early game. When you're going around in the base in the first town, it's really nice just to take an AK with you because sometimes you need more ammo than you think. If you take an AK with you, a lot of the AI that you're going to kill have AKs, and you basically have an unlimited supply of ammo. So you can kill somebody, you can go up to them and search their body and unload their mags, and you'll get a ton of AK ammo. So it's just kind of like a keep you out there longer kind of thing. If you run the AK early on in town, you basically just have an unlimited amount of ammo. It is soft point ammo, so it's kind of junk, but it does work on AI. So as you're doing those early missions, run an AK, you'll always have ammo. M4s work better later because you're gonna encounter AI with M4s like at the mill base, like Fort Nerith and the bunker and stuff like that. You'll start to see more and more M4s. So early game AKs, late games M4s worked really well for finding ammo on the map. Now, how landing zones work, it's not entirely obvious at first. When you do call in choppers, you click the spot you're going to. You don't click where you're at. That took me a second to figure out as well. So you'll click the LZ that you want to go to. I will put up a picture of the landing zones that I found. This is a screenshot from my stream. Take a snap with this on the phone. If you do find an LZ, all you have to do is walk over it. You discover it, then you can use it. So these are the LZs that I found during my stream session. So snap a pic of this with your phone, and you can be able to find some of the LZs as well later on when you get into the game. So once you click on the place you want to go to, your destination, you can click on call transport and the chopper pilot will come in. Now, it kind of extrapolates based how far you are from your closest LZ. It's gonna call it in to the closest LZ to take you there. I would recommend getting to right on the LZ and calling it in. The chopper will come immediately and faster. Sometimes if you're a little bit of a ways out and you want to meet it, it doesn't really work very well because it will give you too much time. It'll take 3 to 5 minutes to get there, and you'll get to the LZ and be waiting for it. So the quickest way I found to use the chopper was to get right on the LZ, call it in. It comes in like 30 seconds and you can get on the road, so you don't have to wait on the chopper. Be careful around the landing zones. We do know that. Hopefully they fix some of those things. The other thing with choppers, sometimes it's more efficient, honestly, to not stay in a squad with your friends. Be in the same faction, in the same server, get into the same server, but don't squad up. You can still work together, talk on Discord. You can still see each other on the Blue Tech tracker. Like, all that stuff works fine, but you could call in multiple choppers because you're not in the same squad. So sometimes you can get a little bit more efficient with calling in multiple choppers if you guys are out of the squads. That's just like a little thing that we found out. When you're reading the map, you can kind of tell where people of the faction, you can definitely tell where people of the same faction are, but you can kind of use that on the map. Once you start getting into those more exterior quests where you're going to see more PvP in the shared areas of the map, you can kind of tell where stuff is safe. If you have a quest up, north side of the map, you can tell in that POI if people are there. South side, if people are there, it's generally more safe. I just found that to kind of be, stick around faction mates, and they kind of inherently, as the map starts to evolve, you kind of have faction controlled areas at certain times, and when PvP starts to happen, that can change. So you can kind of read the map that way. The other thing that I thought was really interesting is take advantage of that faction tracker, of those comms, because you can click on a blueberry on the tracker, and you can send them a message. So you can actually message people on your server and say, hey, is it safe in Banpaw? Or hey, how's the military for? I see you over there. Is it safe? You can do things like that. You can also call in for help too. Like say, hey, I'm fighting people give them the coordinates. If you want some PvP, I would love some help. So take advantage of that tracker, take advantage of the comms. I think it's really cool, and it can lead to some really organic and emergent gameplay that's fun, and you never know what you're gonna get into. So that's really, really cool. Another really cool tip, guys, is when a friendly dies, I know in Tarkov, you kind of hide their stuff in a bush. Well, if you do like a similar thing here, sometimes the body will despawn. So like if the teammate has like a freak accident, so let me start over. As you guys know, like if you get into a fight and your teammate dies and you guys take over everything, they can spawn in and come get their stuff. But if they die in the meantime, only one instance of their body will stay on the server. So if they get dinked by an AI while they're running back to their stuff is gone. You can take the stuff off of their body and leave it on the ground. And if their body despawns, their stuff will stay there. So sometimes if a friendly dies, it's really good practice to take the stuff off their body on the ground. In case they die getting back, their stuff will still be there, even if their body despawns. So that's a little 200 IQ thing that you guys can do. Another thing I would recommend on the quest line, there will be a couple quests early on where you go check out a body. You can either turn it into Gunny, or you can turn it into Handshake, who has the clothes. I really recommend focusing on the Gunny quest, turning all those kind of double quest lines where you can turn it in and earn rep on either one. Turn them into the Gunny, because level 2 Gunny gets you some better firearms really quickly, and those are better. Honestly, the armor and stuff from the Handshake level 1 is okay. It'll get you down the road. So if you want some better guns quickly, I would say focus on the Gunny quest. That helped me a lot. That's what I did, and I'm glad I did. There's a couple other things when you're taking out AI, and especially if you're playing just one or two of you, do not be afraid. You'll have some quests to take out AI either in the main town or like Banpaw or some of the other towns. Do it from a distance, put a scope on a gun. There's a really cool spot when you're doing the Banpaw missions that you can drop at the LZ that's near the beach, run right out to the beach. There's a peninsula. You can sit there, I'll show you guys some gameplay, and you can take all the AI out from a distance safely. If there happens to be some other faction enemies in there, you're gonna be okay because you're at distance, you can pick those off too. I was able to run all the quests, kill the boss, and all the AI that I needed safely from this point. So that's something that you guys can do. Don't be afraid to take some fights at distances on AI when you're by yourself. Don't jump in and be too aggressive and get surrounded. I learned that the hard way. Another really cool thing you can do is control click, move stuff back and forth so you can kit up really fast. How the traders work are a little bit different. There's basically a cart. So you drag stuff into the bottom, it pops up in the cart. You can select how many of those things you want and then buy it. Same way goes with sell. You can drop it in, slide how much ammo you want to take and or sell, and then hit trade, and it'll give you the money or give you the items. And that's kind of how that works. It's a little bit different than some other games. Team killing is going to be interesting. So I'm a little bit worried about the game and how some things could be griefable. But we did find out they're putting the report feature back in. So if somebody keeps getting reported for griefing and team killing, they will be kicked from the server. So hopefully that helps that stuff out. Just make sure if someone is intentionally griefing you, definitely report them. And hopefully that can help with that just a little bit. I'm a little bit worried about it, but that's how to deal with it. There is a Steam upgrade path to upgrade the game edition that will get you stuff. It sounds like how you're going to have to do it is buy the standard edition, and then you can upgrade to other editions as you want to. I thought that was a little bit different, so I wanted to explain that if you run into some confusion there. The last thing I wanted to talk about was guns. When you're building guns, it can be a little unintuitive if you're not like a firearms person to know which mounts and which things you need to be able to fit a scope on who and what. If you click on an item or click and drag it, it will highlight the thing that it will fit on in your inventory, that what it's compatible with. Right now there's not a linked search like where you can search things that will fit on this gun or a compatibility type search yet. That's something that I really hope they add, but you can keep an eye on where stuff fits by doing that. I know some of the mounts that are going to be really important there. With the M4s, you can just take the carry handle off. You can fit an EOTech right on there. It's a little bit more nuanced when you come to the AKs. I think if you want to put a sight on an AK early, make sure you pick up early game, especially the AKMN. If it has an AKN in it, you're able to go to the trader and get the dovetail mount that will fit on the side, and then you'll have a rail on the top that you can put anything on. Also, just real quickly, if you're slapping a sight on an M4, you want to go to Gunny and buy the slim low profile gas block, so you can take the front sight off and put the slim gas block on the front. So that will work. So that's just kind of how to get sights onto M4s and AKs. Early on, I believe Artisan has the dovetail mount that fits on the AKM end. So if it has an end in it, it will take that dovetail mount, and then you'll have a rail to be able to put an EOTech or scope rings or whatever on to put a sight on AKs and stuff like that. So yeah, essentially guys, that's what I know, and that's what helped me to become more efficient by the end of the playtest. I think that will help you guys kind of hit the ground running. It's a lot of little stuff that will make you more efficient, help you out. You'll be less confused, and you can get right into enjoying the game. So hope it helps. If it did, let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much. I'm really excited for the launch of Grayzone. If you guys have been following along and watching the channel in the lead up to it, I can't thank you enough. It's been really cool with all the people coming through and all the love on the channel. It's really awesome, and don't think for a minute that I don't appreciate it. Thank you guys, good luck, and we'll see you in Lemang.